Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 15th of August. So, what's in store today? Let's just quickly recap on the news yesterday. Inflation, US inflation, a PPI increased significantly more than was forecast. Now, this is most likely the effect of the tariffs kicking in, which the prices are starting to be passed on to, I say, the consumer, but yeah, it's getting that way. Someone's got to pick up at some point, I guess, and here's the early signs. Now, this for some reason shocked the markets. Okay, it was quite a bit more than expected there, but the implications of increasing tariffs is going to have an impact at some stage, and well, we're seeing it here. This is the early stage. We didn't see it on the inflation earlier in the week. In fact, that fell slightly. So if it's not being passed on, so basically this is at the producers' end of things. It's well, it looks like they are passing it on, but not necessary. It's not necessary at the moment filtering to the consumer. So that means that companies are brunting the cost of it at this stage. For how long, we'll see. Could have an impact on equity markets eventually if it carried on like that, because obviously if it's being held there at some stage, it's going to affect the bottom lines of a lot of these companies. Right, okay, so today then, just looking at what we've got coming out. US retail sales, that would be quite an interesting one as well. It really has been a bit of a US show this week, isn't it? So core retail sales out there later. This is a bit mixed quite often, with less impact, less movement, but it'll be interesting to see the numbers coming through here. Positive number, maybe not strong for the dollar, not so good for equity markets slightly. We'll see. It normally is pretty good for the equity markets, but anyway, aside of that, not a great deal there. Prelim consumer sentiment. Yeah, this might have a little effect, but it's the retail sales would be the bigger one. So where to today then, and what we got in store? The euro dollar. Although we had the down day yesterday, it only came back into the 50, and it's not really pushing on too much at this stage. Just looking at where this was pinned to. Just adjust this slightly. This is just a regression channel. We'll eventually get around to. It's not going to happen. I was just looking to adjust it, but at the moment, the current price action, it looks a bit bear flaggy on the lower time frames. If you come down to the hourly here, it looks quite bear flaggy. Now, maybe a break of the pivot later this morning at some stage could see a continuation to the downside. Yesterday I was pretty much sitting there waiting to see if we had the reversal going the other way. It just never happened. So no money lost when you're waiting patiently, and this is another case. Is well, is it going to run back down? Are we going to get into more of a channel, a cross channel? It's sort of there anyway. There's a partial channel running through there. Is that going to sort of take effect over the coming days, weeks, to a bigger effect, which will then see us potentially seeing some of these moves? Now I'm just looking at, if this was to morning Ravi, if this was to get a wiggle on here, well, it's potential to carry on pushing up, but just the shape of everything here, still my preference would be the short there on the intraday basis. The pound has been looking generally solid, more solid. It's just a better shape overall across them. It did have its retracement yesterday, massive consolidation around the morning there, but the news it was going to go with it. Now this is an interesting one. If you're looking at the other side of the market, so if we're looking at the euro, well, potentially on the sell side, let's see what happens with this. The 50 MA still pointing to the upside on this hourly. If we can get back above that area, well, we could be challenging back into the previous highs. Weird old day. I'm not so keen on taking a short on this. I'd rather take the euro. US dollar yen. Daily perspective, it's getting into a right chop, isn't it? It's not looking so easy to trade. It's quite messy. You're saying that last week it was pretty messy on it. It's lower highs earlier into yesterday, but the turn there. Well, we'll see if it can. Well, just wait and see if it can break down. Really, to me, just looking at this, that could have been the correction yesterday, and we're just running back down towards its S1 and maybe its prior lows. We'll see how it kicks off this morning. It's not particularly clear with the choppiness on the bigger time frames not helping. Australian dollar, well, yesterday bearish engulfing the break of the low of that, could see it rolling further. Again, little bear flag here, so it's a bit more in style of the euro, but we'll see. Maybe see how it reacts to the pivot if it gets up there. Basically though, looking at yesterday, it sort of double bottomed here. It really is a messy old market. US dollar CAD, I'm quite liking this at the moment, potentially long, we'll see. Largely though, recently it's not really gone anywhere. Yesterday it really gave it the boost, but it had been quite tightly correlated. But I'll just again here, just watch what happens into this pivot, give it a bit of time this morning. At the moment, if I was going to get on the long side of this, I'd be taking the high beyond this 7 o'clock bar. So just wait for the break of the 7 o'clock bar there and look to see if that would give us more upside. Maybe track the stop a little bit aggressively. Don't really want to be holding this over the weekend. Don't want to hold anything over the weekend at the moment. Likes the New Zealand dollar is really following the Aussie dollar there. I'm not interested in that. US dollar Swissy, yesterday I was really looking for this, but nothing occurred, or I reset the signal here. No, I was waiting for the breakdown. Continued to break down, but it never happened. Again, the dollar's just coming off this morning. Right. Other pairs, no, there isn't a great deal I can see in the other pairs at the moment. Let's just move on to gold. So gold really, it's not really moving that much. I mean, none of these markets in the bigger scheme of things are moving a great deal. It's not like they're sort of real game changes. However, on the short term here, it's been interesting to see if we'll get a bit of a continuation, even if it's just back down to its lows here. I've not been trading gold for quite some time at the moment. I just don't like the intraday price action on it. I can't deal with this. Don't want to be involved in it, but it does at the moment look relatively clean. If that was to break down, maybe, as I say, the previous lows, be quite aggressive for the stop and see if we can get it to run down towards its S1. But it's a mess. Oil, it's off nearly 0.5% or over 0.5% this morning. A little bit of a recovery. Got to be a bit careful with Trump meeting Putin today. This could affect the price of oil. At the moment, we're hoping it's going to do it on a negative basis, perhaps. Never really did too much yesterday. Never got into it. It went off a little bit early. Set my alarm off at 11 o'clock there, but immediately bounced. I was only looking for the short side. It's put a higher low in at the moment. It's a little bit less interesting. Again, just waiting for the afternoon though to do any plays on that. Equity markets, well, I was reading somewhere they're all crashing. Yeah, where? I don't know what these people look at when they print things like S&P's down. You sort of read the headlines and it's just sort of catches the attention maybe, and then you look at it and it's complete nonsense. It's making new highs this morning, pushing up, continuing, and we're seeing this through all the US markets here, up 0.5% on the Dow, new all-time highs. And this is going against where you would normally expect, with interest rates being held, or potentially held. Look, it's only a it's only a 10% chance difference between 100% expectation of a cut in September to a 90%, so it's not really made a huge impact on the market, so probably not quite such a shock why these markets are continuing to rally. People think the rates are going to cut anyway, so it's priced in. Nasdaq again pushing up, not quite as much as the other markets here, but perhaps the laggard a little bit, but certainly up today. The FTSE, I'm just looking for potential. This is making new all-time highs. It did it yesterday, pushed in and continuing to do so. I don't have trades on this at the moment. It's if anything, it's looking a little bit ropey where it's sitting at the moment. It's put on a short term. I should imagine this is a bit of divergence kicking here. Yep, a bit of divergence kicking over here, but quite ugly. We did yesterday get the gap filled, but no gaps today. But this does look a little bit ugly where it's sitting here. Maybe we could see it breaking down back towards its pivot. A bit of a correction. I think they're a bit overcooked, to be quite honest, the way it went off or has gone off. DAX is near all-time highs again. It's just continued to shove up there quite solidly. Again, running into a bit of resistance this morning. Now, if this breaks this R1, well, R2's on and new all-time highs as well. Okay, not a great deal in terms of trading at this stage. I'm sort of looking at that FTSE, thinking, is this gonna roll over some more and push down there? It's a very aggressive trade against what is a very strong upward trend on the dailies, the 4 hourlies. Hourly, yeah, as I say, it's just that sort of signs of weakness. But here, realistically, you're only looking at the distance between the high and the low there for a move down. That's where the probability sits. The pivot has got a good probability in general times, but I'm a bit wary of that. I'd almost prefer to be buying off the pivot as opposed to selling to the pivot. Right, I will leave you there. I wish you a great weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. Take care. Bye for now.